Okay, hello everyone. Welcome sa panibago na naman nating lecture here in Psychometrics. For today, I want to discuss the concept of culture fair test. Pero bago natin pag-usapan yan, magbasa muna ako ng Bible verse for the day. Then the disciples came and said to him, "Why do you speak to them in parables?" And he answered them, "To you it has been given to know the secrets of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. For the one who has, more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. This is why I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand." As we go along, malalaman ninyo kung anong connect ng passage na yan sa topic natin ngayon on culture fair test. According to the APA in their online dictionary, ang ibig sabihin ng culture fair test, this is a test based on common human experience and considered to be relatively unbiased with respect to special background influences. Important words are underlined. So kapag yung test at yung test taker, they share common experience, at the same time, the test is unbiased to the test taker, ibig sabihin, yung test na binibigay mo sa test taker is called a culture fair test. Kung sa madaling sabi, para mas madaling intindihin, no, kailan mo masasabi na yung test na binibigay mo sa test taker is culture fair if the test takers can 100% understand the test. Nakaka-relate sila sa test, nagigets nila yung items sa test. Then that means the test that you are giving them is called, altogether again, a culture fair test. But how do we ensure? Paano natin masisigurado na yung test na binibigay mo sa test taker is culture fair, may kinalaman yan sa kultura? Para maging culture fair yung test mo, kailangan yung kultura ng test pareho sa kultura ng tao na kumukuha ng test. Remember this, all psychological tests that we administer is embedded within a culture. Walang psychological test na independent of culture. Lahat ng psychological test, meron siyang cultural background. Ginawa yan sa isang cultural orientation in terms of language, in terms of questions that you ask, in terms of how items are framed in the test. Lahat yan within a certain culture. Para maging culture fair yung test mo, again, ang kailangan, yung kultura ng test kahalintulad ng or kapareho ng kultura ng test taker. Again, in terms of language, in terms of questions, in terms of items that you give the test taker, dapat gets na gets nila yung test. Kasi pareho ng kultura yung test at yung test taker. So, ang simpleng example dito is kung ang kultura ng test is Tagalog, galing sa Filipino culture, dapat yung kumukuha ng test may ganong background din. Galing din sa Filipino culture. Language is written in Tagalog. Yung test, dapat ibibigay mo yan sa isang taong nakakaintindi ng Tagalog. Nagigets nyo? So, in that case, kapag tugma, kapag aligned yung culture ng test sa culture ng test taker, we call the test culture fair test. Now, the next question to ask is, would that matter? Bakit mahalaga na ang test dapat culture fair sa mga test takers? Kasi, dyan nakasalalay whether or not the results that you're gonna get from the test is valid. So, ibig sabihin, kapag nagbigay ka ng test sa isang test taker na hindi naman culture fair sa kanya, hindi niya 100% na gets, hindi siya makarelate sa mga items, sa mga tanong doon sa test, it's as good as saying that the test that you have given the test taker is useless. Sa Tagalog, walang kwenta. And that's bad. Kasi kaya ka nga nagbibigay ng test to make sense of the person. 'Di ba? Your measurement leads to assessment. Eh, hindi culture fair yung test mo. So, ano nangyari? Naging invalid your measurement, leading to invalid assessment. Hindi ka na lang sana nagpa-test in the first place. Kaya dapat, bago ka palang nagbigay ng test, sinigurado mo na that the test that you are giving the person, the test taker, is culture fair to that person. Now, let me further explain itong red circle na to, paano nagiging useless yung resulta na nanggagaling sa test na hindi naman culture fair sa test taker. In positive psychology, very popular yung mga ganitong studies, no, where they rank countries according to their level of happiness. As you know, in positive psychology, ang main topic dyan, happiness, also known as subjective well-being. So isa yan sa mga area of researches in positive psychology. I-rank natin yung mga countries in the world, sino ang pinakamasaya at sino yung pinaka hindi masaya. And whenever people see these kinds of studies, they are amazed. Natutuwa sila na yung country nila kasama sa top 10, yung iba naman nalulungkot kasi yung country nila wala doon sa top 10, nandoon sa baliktad, nandoon sa least happy. Okay? Now, this is a good take-off point to understand this concept. Paano nagiging useless or questionable ang isang test score na nanggaling sa isang test na hindi naman culture fair doon sa test taker. So, iwanan muna natin tong studies na to. Later on, babalikan natin yan. Okay? Now, speaking of happiness and subjective well-being, if you are into positive psychology and into these kinds of studies, merong isang chapter na sinulat si Saw and Koo that I highly recommend that you read. You can just Google Scholar this and download ang title, Comparing Subjective Well-Being Across Cultures and Nations. This is a very good chapter that tackled this issue. Ang sabi nila dito sa chapter, karamihan daw ng mga researches in connection to ranking countries according to their level of happiness is, the trend is like this. Happiness scores are always higher in Western societies than Asian societies. So kung irarank mo raw yung happiness index, gaano kasaya ang mga countries in the world, ang mga Asian countries least happier than the Western societies. Alright? Kaya nga going back to this study na pinakita ko kanina, it makes sense given this statement by Su and Koo. Got that? Happiness scores are higher in Western societies than Asian societies. Kaya pala dito sa listahan, walang Asian country. As you can see, yan. Yung top 1 to 10, walang Asian country ang nakapasok. Which is again consistent with this observation from this chapter. Now, although it makes sense, no? That is a very shallow way of interpreting this observation. Okay, paano mo i-interpret ito in a shallow level, yung hindi ganun kalalim? Sasabihin mo na lang kaya pala. And it makes sense. Bakit mas mababa ang happiness sa Asian countries compared to non-Western countries? Kasi sa Asian countries, ang tawag pala dito yung socio-economic theory, no? Kasi sa Asian countries, hindi ganun kalakas ang economy compared to the Western countries. Kasi mas maraming benefits yung mga tao sa European countries kumpara sa non-Western countries. Kasi mas politically stable yung mga nasa Western countries compared to sa mga non-Western countries, specifically Asian countries. So if you analyze it that way, the socio-economic theory, number one, it's a shallow interpretation. You are not analyzing this in the psychometric level. And number two, it's unfair for people who are Asians. Mamaya ipapaliwanag natin bakit unfair yon. Okay? Now, let's dig deeper. Going back to that study I've shown you, ang unang dapat tinatanong, given this study, no, if you're going to analyze this in the psychometric level, is tanungin natin what test was used to get the happiness index. Happiness index is the quantitative basis for ranking countries like this. Kaya natin nalaman na number 1 ang Norway at number 10 ang Sweden kasi kinuha natin yung happiness index ng mga countries na yan. And as we know, if happiness index is a quantitative value, merong psychological instrument na ginamit dyan. So, yun yung una nating dapat i-zoom in, iimbestigahan. Anong instrument ang ginamit sa mga researches na to get the happiness index? Again, let's leave these studies behind and then let me refer to you to another article I highly recommend you should read. Ito naman sinulat ni Owishi, another very popular name in positive psychology. Ito ang title ng article niya, Culture and Subjective Well-Being, Conceptual and Measurement Issues. So as you can see here, may mga measurement issues tayong dapat i-consider in connection to these kinds of studies. Okay? In this article, ang sinabi niya ni Owishi, point number 1, it is well established in the literature that the standard of happiness differ between Western societies and non-Western societies. Ibig sabihin, sa madaling sabi, iba-iba tayo ng standard kung anong ibig sabihin ng pagiging masaya. Iba ang definition ng West, iba ang definition ng non-West. Now, in my other lectures, I discussed this, specifically in Psikolohiyang Pilipino. Hanapin nyo na lang sa mga lecture videos ko. Pero quickly, sabihin ko na lang din dito, no, according to the literature, ang Western societies, ang definition sa happiness, it's more on satisfying the wants of the self. Ang mga tao sa West, masaya sila kapag meron silang achievement, kapag pinupuri sila ng ibang tao, kapag na-accomplish nila yung mga personal goals nila, kapag meron silang materialistic possessions na gustong-gusto nila at nakuha nila for themselves. Like condo unit, sports car, bagong laptop, mamahaling relo, so on and so forth. That's the Western standard. But in the non-Western standard, especially among Asians, ang standard of happiness, it's more on relational. Masaya ka kapag masaya ang mga tao sa paligid mo. And that's a very common Filipino understanding of happiness. Hindi na baling luma ang rubber shoes mo, basta bago ang rubber shoes ng kapatid mo. Hindi na baling hindi ka nakapag-aral, basta napapag-aral mo yung mga kapatid mo. Diba? That is very Filipino way of defining happiness. Kapag masaya yung iba, masaya na rin ako. As you can see, completely different standard of happiness between West and non-West. Point number 2, which is, again, a very important point according to Oishi, Western well-being tests are used in Asian populations. Yan ngayon yung malungkot na katotohanan na nireport ni Oishi. Although iba pala tayo ng standard of happiness, merong error na nangyayari sa happiness research. A lot of these researchers, when they study Asian societies or non-Western societies in general, they are using Western-made psychological tests that is based on Western standard of happiness. Now, does this ring a bell? In connection to point number 2, pwede mo na i-connect dito yung study na pinakita ko kanina. So, this study is infested by that problem. So, going back to my question, anong instrument yung ginamit dito to measure happiness index? Ang sagot, isang instrument na na-develop sa Western culture. Which means, these tests na ginamit dito are asking about Western standard of happiness. Ngayon, okay yung instrument na yan kung ang pinag-aaralan mo mga Western societies or Western or societies with Western culture. Kasi pwede rin namang hindi ka Western society but yung kultura mo Western. Okay? So, Western societies / Western culture. Now, for those societies, okay lang na gamitin mo yung instrument that is developed from the West. Kasi aligned sa kanila. Now, here's the problem. When happiness researchers goes to societies that are not Western, non-Western societies, having non-Western cultures, yun pa rin yung instrument na ginagamit nila. So, ibig sabihin, using the language I'm teaching in this lecture, marami sa mga researchers na to, yung instrument na ina-administer sa mga non-Western societies to measure happiness is not culture fair. And again, that is unfair for those people in the non-Western societies. Why? Nasaan papasok yung unfairness doon? Who are we to call them unhappy if they have a different standard of happiness? Eh, ang sinusukat ng instrument mo na happiness is yung pang-Western standard. After all, as you can see on the slide, maybe they are happier than what they appear to be. Baka hindi naman talaga sila ganyan kababa yung happiness. Kaya lang siguro ganyan kababa yung happiness nila based on these researchers, it's because the kind of happiness that is being measured to them is not the same happiness that they have in their culture. Sa simpleng Tagalog, hindi kasi tugma yung psychological test na binigay mo sa kanila sa kung paano nila maintindihan yung happiness. Pwede kasing masaya naman talaga sila if only you have used a psychological test that measures happiness in their own standard. Or again, in using the language I'm teaching now, mas mag-iiba siguro yung resulta dyan. It would appear na mas magiging masaya pala yung mga tao dito if gumamit ka ng happiness test na culture fair sa mga tao dyan. Diba? Kaya nga, Let's go to this slide. Let's talk about Asian countries. Happiness scores are higher in Western societies than Asian societies. Sabi doon sa chapter na present ko kanina. Again, we apply the same principle. Maybe, for all we know, Asians are really happy if only their happiness was measured using Asian standards. Nagigets ninyo? And vice versa. Tingnan nyo, subukan ninyo. Kumuha kayo ng psychological instrument according to the Asian standard, tapos yun naman yung i-administer mo dito sa Western societies. What would you predict will happen? This result would have been entirely different. Most likely, ang mga to, lulungkot naman. Not because malungkot talaga sila. It's just that they understand happiness differently compared to how Asians, compared to how non-Western people understand happiness. Diba? Yun yung magiging consequence kapag gumamit ka ng instrument na hindi culture fair sa mga test takers. Kaya, in connection to that, no, ang implication nito sa testing ang laki-laki. Well-being of test results of Asians who took Western developed tests are not valid results. Diba? Diyan ko na ngayon i-connect yung sinasabi ko kanina na mahalaga talaga na dapat yung test na ina-administer mo sa tao, sa test taker, culture fair sa kanya. Kasi the moment na hindi culture fair yan, kahit wag mo nang i-interpret yung raw score because it's gonna be useless anyway. Because the test is not the appropriate test for the test taker. Oh, and we saw the consequence of that in this study that I have mentioned. Diba? Nagiging questionable yung mga ganitong studies. At ano ang root cause? Bakit naging questionable? Bakit hindi tayo pwede maging conclusive na talagang ganito kalulungkot ang mga to? Because hindi kasi culture fair yung mga test na ginamit sa kanila in studying their happiness. So how can we remedy? Ano ang solution sa problema na yan? Siguraduhin natin na culture fair yung mga test na binibigay natin sa mga test takers. Diba? So for the Western societies, you want to measure happiness, you want to rank them top 10, walang problema. Basta yung test na gagamitin mo is a test that measures happiness in the Western standard. Ganun din naman sa non-Western societies. Walang problema. Pag-aralan natin, sino ang top 10 happiest, sino ang least happiest. No problem. Basta siguraduhin lang na yung instrument na ginagamit dito is in line, culture fair to these societies, according to how they understand happiness. Hindi pwedeng ito, ipipilit mo dito. Yan yung magiging problema, hindi na magiging culture fair, and vice versa. Hindi pwedeng ito naman yung gagamitin mo dito. Got that? Tugma dapat. Yung kultura ng test, ito, pareho sa kultura ng mga tao dito. Kultura ng test, pareho sa kultura ng mga tao dito. Yon. Kaya, in the language of psychometrics, meron tayong mga test na tinatawag na culture fair. When a test claims that their test is culture fair, what does it say? It is saying that you can administer this test to a person regardless of his or her culture. Such as yung Raven's progressive matrices, yan yung claim niyan eh. Culture fair yung test na to kasi yung mga items dito hindi siya in language form. Lahat ng tao na makakita ng mga items dito magigets nila, makaka-relate sila. Most likely alam nila kung paano i-solve. Kasi ang ginagamit naman dito is same reasoning and physical figures that and spaces regardless of the culture. Lahat ng tao nakakaintindi ng physical figures and spaces. Kaya yung mga items sa mga test na yan na tinatawag nilang culture fair, ganyan yung mga items. Hindi mo naman kasi kinakailangan maging Amerikano para maintindihan yan. Kahit Pilipino ka, Indian ka, Chinese ka, taga-Russia ka, you can understand these figures. You can reason. You can use your physical logic to solve these kinds of problems regardless of your culture. Kaya again, ang tawag sa mga test na yan na ganyan yung items, it transcends all cultures, culture fair test. Another example of that test would be the CFIT. Culture fair test, as the name implies, bakit natin ina-assume na lahat ng tao pwedeng kunin yung test na to? Because regardless of your culture, we are acting within the same physical figures and same reasoning when it comes to spaces, which are what the items are all about in these kinds of tests. Hindi mo kinakailangan maging Amerikano para maintindihan mo kung paano isolve to. Basta maintindihan mo yung instruction, regardless of what your culture is, pwede mong kunin yung test na yan. Kaya in closing, ang pinakamahalagang psychometric application dito is the test must be within the level, must be fully understood by the test takers. Mahalaga na dapat yung test, culture fair sa mga kumukuha ng test. Unfortunately, this is one of the problems that we have in Philippine psychological testing. Isa nga ito sa mga isinisigaw ng psikolohiyang Pilipino na pangangailangan ng Filipino psychology. Kailangan natin ng mga psychological instruments that are locally developed within our own culture to further understand the Filipino psyche. Ang current pattern kasi ngayon, maraming mga test na ginagamit sa mga Pilipino, galing pa rin sa Western-made tests. We measure intelligence, we measure personality, we measure spirituality based on how Westerners define intelligence, personality, and spirituality. Kaya ang need talaga ngayon sa Philippine psychology is dumami yung mga psychological tests natin that are made by Filipinos for the Filipinos. Kaya mahalaga talaga yung subject na test development. Turuan natin yung mga future psychologists and psychometricians ng mga tamang proseso kung paano gumawa ng psychological test para sa mga Pilipino. Yon, which is what test development is all about in the subject that I am teaching. Okay? I-connect ngayon natin yan doon sa passage na binasa ko kanina. Anong connect? Ang pinaka-issue kasi dito sa parables, marami nagtatanong, why is it whenever Jesus teaches people, He teaches in parables? Hindi niya direktang tinuturo yung spiritual lesson that He wants to teach people. Gumagamit pa siya ng parables. At ang sagot dyan, parables were used by Jesus so that humans will understand. Kumbaga, using the term na ginamit natin for today, Jesus is making His message quote-unquote human fair. Yan yung counterpart ng culture fair na pinag-usapan natin kanina. Bakit kinakailangan si Jesus palitan niya yung message niya na maging parables to make it human fair? Kasi if Jesus will communicate the message that He wants for people to learn using divine language, kasi napaka-powerful ng Diyos, napaka-holy ng Diyos, napakatalino ng Diyos. If God uses His own language to communicate with people that He is teaching sa simpleng Tagalog, hindi natin magigets. Diba? So, as you can see here in this figure, using the language na ginamit natin ngayon, hindi magiging human fair yung message ng Diyos para sa tao. Kapag ganito ang nangyari, si Kristo hindi gumamit ng parables, straight to the point, gumamit siya ng divine language, hindi natin magigets. So what does He do? Translate niya yung divine language, ginawa niyang human language then through the parables. Kaya naging parables yon, kasi parables are something that humans can understand. Magigets natin. Bakit ginawa ng Diyos yan? Para maging fair sa human mind. Para mag-gets natin, para makarelate tayo sa teachings niya. And it worked. It worked. Diba? Paano natin nasabi na yung pagbabaw ng Diyos, ng message niya in human form, in human level, ginawa niyang human fair, nag-work, naintindihan siya ng mga tao, because many people were astonished by His teaching. For His word possessed authority. Na-gets ng mga tao yung mga spiritual teachings niya. Which again will not happen kung ang Diyos, ang yabang-yabang, hindi siya nakirelate sa tao. Straight to the point, ginamit niya yung divine language, marami mga tao mawiwirdohan sa Kanya. So what does God do? Ginawa niyang human fair yung message niya for humans to understand. But other than His message being converted to a parable, I think in the Bible, isa sa pinaka-obvious na ways on how God made Himself human fair is when He also changed His nature from God to human. Yan talaga yung ultimate expression. Na ginawa niyang human fair yung presence niya sa mga tao para maintindihan siya ng mga tao. Diba? That's the point of Philippians 4:6-8. Who, being in the very nature of God, did not consider equality with God. Yung who dito is Jesus. Something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant. Ginawa niyang human fair yung sarili niya so that he can show his love for his creatures, so that humans can understand him. And made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. That's the ultimate expression of God's attempt to make himself human fair for us. Para mas maintindihan natin siya, mas mapabuti yung spiritual life natin. Yun ang connect nun sa idea ng culture fair test. Diba? So, sa culture fair test, ang sisiguraduhin nyo lang, dapat yung kultura ng test taker kapareho ng kultura ng test para nagiging valid yung result. Bakit naging valid yung result? Kasi naintindihan ng tao yung test. Nakarelate yung tao doon sa mga items na binigay mo. Kaya kung ano man yung raw score na makuha mo doon, we can be certain na valid yan. Siya talaga yan. Yon ang connect ng culture fair test doon sa ginawa ng Diyos, sa ginawa ni Jesus, bakit niya tinatransform yung divine language into parables. Alright? So that ends my short lecture on culture fair test. Sana naintindihan nyo kung ano ang culture fair test at bakit mahalaga na dapat ang test na binibigay mo is culture fair. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa baba. Sir Howard here. Until the next lecture, God bless everyone. Bye-bye.